Hey C3, welcome to C3 at Home. We are so excited to be with you this morning. Every year we take one Sunday off of the year. We call it a Sabbath Sunday. And I know that this year has been a little bit different and we've already done some online services, but we wanted to keep up with the tradition. So we hope that you guys have your warm drink, your leftover breakfast, and are ready to let the Spirit just speak to you this morning. We have one question for you guys that we want y'all to be thinking about, and that's, where have you been uncomfortable this year, and what has God done for you through that? Now, I have a verse for you guys. It's beautiful. I will sing for joy in God, explode in his praise deep in my soul. He dressed me up in a suit of salvation and outfitted me in a robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom who puts on a tuxedo and a bride a jeweled tiara. For as the earth bursts with spring wildflowers and as a garden cascades with blossoms, so the Master, God, brings righteousness into full bloom and puts praise on display before the nations. Now, even though you're on the couch and you're ready to just relax and get comfortable, we want you guys to take this time and really praise and worship God with us. Before we get started on that, I just want to say a little prayer with you. Dear God, we just thank you for today. We thank you for all the things that you have done for us this year, God. And we just thank you for the things to come. You are such a good and gracious God. And God, we thank you for giving your son for us, allowing us to have a savior. And we just pray that we can remember that as we celebrate this time of year, God. We thank you again. We thank you for this church and family. And we just ask for blessings, God. And we take this time to praise and worship you. In your name we pray. Amen.
His love for me, his love for me. Whom the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last he has ransomed. His grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Whom the Son sets free, oh, he's free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Whom the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. When the sun sets free, oh, he's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority Jesus has given me. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority Jesus has given me. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority Jesus has given me. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority Jesus has given me. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am. Crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all.
We're here with some incredible people from our C3 community to talk a little bit about what this year has been like for them and what God has done in them and through them during these most difficult moments of the beloved 2020. But first, we're going to get to know each other a little bit better. So let's go around and just state our names, and then I have a few questions to ask, which I'm sure you're totally prepared for, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So why don't you start with you, David?
Yeah, I'm David Emerson.
And how long have you been going to C3? No, I'm kidding. It's fine. This is David Emerson. I'm Kristen McCurdy.
Heather Garland.
Hector Rodriguez.
We just got done with Christmas, right? And so I have just a couple of random questions for you. I'm sure you asked this at your family gathering. What Christmas decoration would be the most terrifying if it came alive?
The abominable snowman. I don't know if that's a Christmas decoration,
I
but
guess it's a Christmas decoration.
they show the cartoon at Christmas. So.
Yeah. We have a little snowman that sings. It does its little dance. I think that might be a little terrifying if that came to life.
I don't like creepy.
The cats are afraid of it.
Creepy toys. The singing and dancing toys that have the high-pitched, creepy songs.
Yeah.
Those are not okay.
Yep.
That's not Christmas spirit or Christmas joy.
So maybe our Christmas tree, just because it's a little unorthodox. It's very large. It's like the
senior
first time
tree.
we've got to have a large tree. So yeah, if that thing were to come
It is
alive.
awesome. And then you have some pampas in there.
Yes.
So that might come and really attack you and
it's
just...
a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a nightmare to take down too.
It's a beautiful nightmare.
Yeah.
Megan did a great job.
She did. Well done.
I'm assuming she did it.
Yeah, she
not
did.
you.
Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's start here. What has been the most uncomfortable or difficult for you this year?
I mean, just the whole year has been difficult, right? I mean, for all of us. I mean, with COVID. The racial protest for justice, and then also just the elections, right? And I would say the last two, by far, have been the hardest on me.
Yeah.
Just how it's played out in my life and what I think is important. So.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
I think for me, I just struggled a lot in the beginning of the shutdowns, and just not being able to come to church and be around my church family, because this is my community, and I rely so heavily on my one day a week where I'm around my family and friends and getting that time. And so I think the first couple months for me, I was just like, what's going on? I was just so uncomfortable. But it also taught me to really lean into to Jesus and trusting him. And there's so much uncertainty. There's so much that we don't know what's going to happen, but it brought me closer to him in that. But I think as time progressed and we started seeing hope and things started reopening again, I got more comfortable knowing that, okay, we're on a breakthrough. But the first couple months was like, I was losing it.
You weren't the only one losing it.
Yeah.
I know I was losing it at moments. I'm pretty sure we all were losing it at moments.
Yeah, and then not being here for Easter, that was so hard.
That's right. We did Easter online. Mm-hmm. So bizarre. It seems so long ago, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Hector?
So for me, I think it was the ups and downs that came with the year. So every time that you thought you'd be building up a little bit of continuity, things were really going in the right direction, it could change on an instant. And it didn't necessarily take a toll on maybe myself or Megan, my fiance, but I saw that it took a toll on others a lot harder that weren't, in the essential workers field during that time. Yeah. And so I think that was hard to see, because a lot of my guys were essential workers, but a lot of their families were relying on them each and every day. Mm-hmm. And, just being able to have those conversations with them, see how they're doing, see what you can do to help their situation a little bit better. I think that's what brought some light into, a dark time, dark place.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did you get engaged during COVID, or it was right
Yeah.
before, right? Or was it during? I can't remember now.
No, COVID was a very interesting year for me, or backwards, however you want to say it. Yeah, we got engaged. I had COVID, and I bought a house. We bought a house, and then we decided
to plan a wedding too.
Yeah, to plan a wedding during all that, and we get married in February. So
that's awesome.
It was definitely a heck of a year for us, but Yeah, we picked an interesting time to do all that.
Hey, I totally get it. I work in the wedding business, so I know how
There you go.
frustrating it has been this year, for sure. What parts of your life have you been able to uncover by only finding yourself here in this moment?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I know, we can take a second. But
It's just been a series of challenges and just working through, a lot of things that I've believed or felt over time, and really having to flesh them out with a lot of people that would be in the Christian body, and so some of it's just been an affirmation of what was already in there, but pulling it out. And I used to speak a lot about social injustice, and I used to speak a lot about the church, not so being much about being an American church as being a global church, and that we're citizens of the kingdom.
Yeah.
And so along those lines this year, it's really just forced me to step up and, kind of re-engage on that, because I kind of got tired of saying it and didn't want to use my voice. Brandon always tells us, that some of us have a voice and we need to use it. And I'm one of those people who quit using mine. And so it's kind of been a season where I just I need to step back up and start talking to people about, hey, here's the other side of the coin, right?
Finding your voice. It's good.
I think the hardest part about all of that, too, was that we were in a time of kind of seclusion as well. Mm-hmm. And so all this is happening, and you want to discuss it, you want to talk about it, but you were also being told not to gather, not to have people over, not to, and so to have those hard conversations, and we're not really a society these days that just picks up a phone, we text, you can lose things in text, and so, all of that.
Yeah, anything's online or texting, you just lose so much of the meaning. But it's been meaningful. I've been able to have a lot of conversations with my kids and my daughter-in-law who aren't Christians, don't profess to be anymore. Grew up in church, and so, but we've been able to have a lot of conversations. So there's been good out of it, but it's been hard to go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say what we're doing now is definitely something, that's forwarded my reach out to God. Being able to speak like this is not something not a place where I thought I was going to be at. So thank you, Brandon, for that one. I appreciate you. But no,
It's always bringing out the best in us, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So looking back, if you would have told me a few months from now in December that we would all be gathering in a church in our place here at 33 Fort Worth, talking at the table, I wouldn't have believed you at that point.
It was hard to know what was going to happen. I think that was the hardest part, was just the unknown. And then being followers of Jesus, and you feel like you're supposed to be that light and that encouragement for your neighbors, but yet you don't know how to encourage yourself really, or how to keep going, and I think I know for me, just in those moments was, okay, God, you're all I got in this, no one else knows the answers, and I have to fully rely on you and trust in you. But I found myself, and I'm sure some of you did as well, that when I leaned into that and I leaned onto God for everything in that season, and still, this is still a season of uncertainty, but in those first few months, I just remember when I finally learned to fully lean in and lean onto him and give him everything, there was such a peace, an unexplainable peace that came with that. It wasn't that I knew the answers. It wasn't that anyone knew what was really going to happen. There was just a peace there, and it was easy to find ways to cheer up your neighbor, or just find ways to even just be a neighbor and keep your distance and follow the rules and wear the mask and don't wear the gloves and wear the gloves, just all those things. But when I finally realized, that's the crazy thing. God doesn't want us to do it on our own, but we all try to do it on our own. And it's every time, you finally realize, okay, well, fine. I'll just let you do it. It's so easy. And it's just.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I kind of found a strength during this time that I didn't know that I had. Kind of found a voice, like David, where I just felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me, we are in dark times right now. We need light more than ever. And I'm not one to go on Instagram and do videos of me talking or anything like that. But as I was doing my reading in the morning and getting in the Word, sometimes he would just give me a word word. And he's like, somebody needs this word. And so I actually started like making videos of me just saying, hey guys, like this was the word that I read this morning. This is what, God's telling me. I hope that it touches you, and just pushing myself a little bit out of my comfort zone and finding that strength. And then as a church, when we were doing our, I think, Tuesday morning prayer time live online, that really encouraged me. Brandon even had me come on and pray one morning, and I was like, wasn't ready for this, but
I was either. I had to do that one morning. That was tough.
But finding that peace, right? When you
Yeah.
press in and where you're pressing into God and you're leaning on Him, He starts giving you this peace, and He starts giving you like, you can do this. I'm with you in this, and somebody else needs to be encouraged. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I also thought it was super timely that we chose this Christmas to really focus in on Advent.
Yeah.
And so you just talking about the peace and all that. When I have this inner peace, I'm able just to sit. That's when it's easiest to reflect.
Yeah.
And so going through this whole honest Advent book has just really been a time of reflection that I don't usually find the time to take at this time of the year, right? It's Christmas, it's busy, it's whatever. But actually all of us doing this together has forced me to really just slow down and reflect on what's really important during this season. And with that, I just wanted to see how Honest Advent, going through that, has maybe helped you orient or just reposition your perspective or outlook. Has it shifted anything for any of y'all?
For me, I think it's given me a bit of perspective, knowing that, over this past year, people have gone through something that we've, never really experienced, never saw ourselves going through. And people changed during that time. A lot of people found God, went away from God. A lot of people came to our church during that time and no longer go to our church. But now that the church is opened back up, we have, new people who didn't necessarily replace them, but we have people that were looking for something during that time.
Yeah.
And, for me, whenever I come to church, it's not necessarily cut and dry, with what everybody went through. Not everybody goes through the same thing or anything like that. We don't necessarily know what goes on behind the scenes in different households. But whenever you come to church and we're all able to gather to worship, we can lean on each other. I know for me, whenever I see Kyle get up there and he's just hammering away, dancing around on like the guitar, it kind of brings me back in the moment, like, okay, this is my, safe haven. This is what I was yearning for.
Yeah.
And if I'm able to do what Kyle did for me, for someone else, just simply saying, hey, how's your job going? Hey, were you able to get that other job that you were looking at? I know you got a lot of changes at home. How's that going? I think those little things have gone a long way in essentially the direction, that our society is kind of going. Where we saw everyone leaning on each other just a little bit more.
It's definitely changed my perspective of just taking something that kind of grows so familiar, the Christmas season, and bringing that sense of wonder back into it. That this is a time where we get to celebrate the greatest gift that we have on this earth, and even just the gallery that we have going on right now with the pictures of just kind of like looking like, wow, like Jesus came to this earth for us. The Advent season, I've been even more intentional with my devotionals in the morning of just doing these Advent devotionals and kind of trying to bring that sense of wonder back into something that I think we just kind of, it's Christmas and, it's so familiar for us Christians, right? But like really, this is the time where we get to celebrate and being here in the church in our own building, this season has been so different, I feel, than like any other season where we have so much to celebrate right now, and being able to celebrate this like Advent season together as a family, like you were saying, like new people coming in that have been looking for that. It's been really amazing.
You just triggered it. I think, so when we were worshiping last week, we did some carols, and Christmas carols have just felt different this year, and I think you nailed it. I think it's the wonder. Like, just going through all of this has brought back that wonder and just the awe of Christ in this season. And so, I don't know about you, but Christmas carols have felt different. As we wrap up, just how has your view of or your relationship with Jesus changed as you've walked through 2020 and you're walking into 2021?
I think early on in COVID, when we were all told to go home and stay home, right? It's one of the things I told Brandon was, my devotion time, I had time, right? And so I could sit on the couch and read and pray and just spend time, right? I wasn't in a hurry to go anywhere. Wasn't anywhere to go. And so, I think that deepened the walk, but by May, I was back, to putting in 60 hours a week, right? And so that has been something I'm having to adjust to is making sure I still have that time in my schedule. But again, I think it just reaffirmed a lot. I think of what I've always felt and, how I view my faith and, Christianity and Christ's role in society in general and just redeeming society. And I think as believers, we've got to be a bigger part of that instead of, always being us against them. I don't think we have a voice to share with them if we're not loving them. It's, love God, love people, right?
Good.
And I think we got to focus on
together.
that. So I think that's just kind of been reaffirmed for me this year.
Yeah, I was thinking about you said, having the time to actually, try and listen to what God was, telling you that whole time, or even just having a few minutes to worship. Whenever we finally got that time back and you were able to take advantage of it, you really did feel like you were missing something, and he showed up for you. And I think now that everything's kind of getting back into full swing, I'm really hoping, God tested us, this whole past year to say, hey, I'm glad you made it through all this. Now we got 2021 coming up. Now let's really see what you can do, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Testing
looking
your
forward
faith a
to.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely felt, like he was, I just felt his presence in all of this too, probably more because I feel like it forced you almost to dive deeper, to really rely on him. And that's something that I want to do better anyways. I want to fully trust in the Lord. And so I just feel like he showed me his faithfulness and how to just be thankful for everything that we have. This year it just put so much into perspective of how blessed we are. And even when things were going wrong and things were going wrong around us for people, of how, we have something that a lot of people don't have, and just being grateful for that, just being grateful that we have the Lord with us and that we can trust in him. And so I've definitely grown, in so many ways. So it's been a blessing. It's been trying, and, but I think that's how we grow, so.
I think you said it right there, faithfulness.
Yes.
And that's where I've seen just God has been extremely faithful. I know you and I have had this conversation just in business. We had to pivot a little bit. And it was, literally. It was just like, okay, so as Hector knows, in this wedding planning business, we're on shutdown, so you're not going to have any weddings. So how are you going to make money? Right. And you're rearranging. And so I guess the most surprising thing for me was just seeing how God was even extremely faithful in those moments and giving fresh ideas and just being like, okay, well, try this. And I know, the thoughts popped in my head, but they weren't, they were given by him. And I know that because there are things that I wouldn't have, just, pressed on and, fully gone after. And he just ceases to amaze every time. And faith,
So faithful.
it's so true. When we're faithful, he's faithful. And I love that.
Yeah. It refocuses us to, focus on Christ,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And we get caught up with our business plans and making money and all those things. And then all of a sudden when it's all at risk, then
Then you're
you're,
like,
confronted with what's really important
Yeah.
in life, right?
Yes.
And it's go back to your faith.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to take a hold of what you said. Love God, love people. It's my motto for 2021 as we
Amen.
close out
Amen.
this Sunday and this season.
You should make shirts.
Love God,
Yeah.
love people
Yes.
Love God, love people.
for the city.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, for the city.
That's good.
For the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like someone already did the for the
wear 'em at
city
the
shirt, so
outreaches,
maybe I just need to start. Yeah, love God, love people. No, I love it. I love it. This year has been definitely trying for all of us, but it's been rewarding, and as always, God has been faithful. So thank you. We love you and are very thankful for all of you at home as well. Hope everyone watching took some time to answer those questions as well and just reflect with us during this time. So cheers to 2021 and what it holds.
So here we are with Pastor Meredith and Pastor Brandon, and what a year we have been through together, right? So here we are closing out 2020, just a year full of just complete unexpected things,
Chaos.
Yes.
uncertainties, and
Yeah.
it's been nuts, right? So I just have a few questions to ask you guys. What has this year been like for y'all?
Oh,
Well, I think our year started off with a
started off with a bang. Yeah,
with a bang.
Yeah.
I think it was end of January. We were supposed to go to San Diego,
Yep.
be with our C3 pastors and friends, and just get away. And that was the day we were about to fly out is when Gregory had to have his surgery,
It was also my
an
birthday.
emergency surgery, and it was supposed to be your birthday weekend. And he had an emergency surgery so we had to cancel all of that. And
Yep.
then
And that was January,
That was
right?
end of January.
Yes.
We should have known.
Yes. Should have known then.
And then what? Like a month or two later, we were shutting down church.
Yep.
We had not gone online. We'd never done that. So we had a Facebook Live thing going. We had
Yeah, I
phones
think
set up.
in a matter of seconds, you became not only the pastor, but then the coordinator of setting up all the equipment
online church.
in our
I was
house.
an online pastor.
Online
Yeah.
pastor, social media dude,
Yeah.
the whole works.
Oh, we had plenty
editor.
of team. Yeah. We had everybody just kind of had
Yeah.
to go. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? What's
Yeah.
going to happen? Yeah, but it's been a wild year. I mean, it's been a challenging one for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I remember the church, moving online, but then my salon
Yeah.
right.
shut down. So we couldn't, I think they told us we would be fined if we even stepped foot into the salon. So for, I think, 8 weeks, I went without a salary,
Yeah.
and that was cool.
Yeah, and then you had your husband over there washing all the groceries and,
Yes.
Yeah, it was all Mayor.
taking
That wasn't
Yeah.
for you at all.
washing
Yeah.
all my clothes.
Yeah.
No, I would
Listen,
legit
if-
go back out with Clorox wipes, and it's the most I had done prepping food in a very long time.
That's so true. I think if I could have sent you out in a bubble, I would have.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Because you know me.
Wait, did you go to grocery stores at all?
I didn't go in.
I didn't either.
think
I
he-
made
All the
Shane do
online stuff
everything.
you did?
Yeah.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, all of that speaks to obviously it was just very uncertain. I mean, everything both of us, we do on a daily basis, either shut down or completely changed how it's done.
Yep.
You're not able to grab a coffee. You're not able to, you can't get out of your house. You're not supposed to, and on top of that, it's going to be 2 weeks. No, it's going to be 2 years. No, it's going to be 2 million. No, it's going to be
Right.
200,000. There's all these questions. I think I don't know that anxiety's never been a word I've uttered. It's never been, worry's never been a word that I tend to hang with. It's beaches and surfboards and everything's going to be good. The waves will take care of it. And I don't make fun of me.
Okay.
And so I think for me, I just realized I had more anxious moments than I've had in a long time. And I think probably a lot of pastors felt that way, but I think a lot of people felt that way. Just
Yeah.
the weight of it and worry and concern and wonder and the not good kind of wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think it really made us evaluate and take inventory of what matters most.
Yeah, for sure.
When fear comes in and when anxiety comes in, man, it exposes a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I learned how I carry anxiety. I think it changes through the years.
Yeah.
And so I started feeling things physically that I had never
Right.
experienced before.
Right.
And so it just exposed a lot
Yeah.
in us.
Well, and then obviously as you go through the year, so that's March, and then you end up right with George Floyd, and you end up with some of these things that begin to spark other conversations, and you're still in the middle of the uncertainty of the last conversation. And so then you're talking with friends and people. I know you and I had multiple long conversations.
We talked a lot.
And
Hours.
we had
Literally, yeah.
we and I think there was some of that, and then as was mentioned in the conversation prior, you end up with the election conversation, and I think it was just, I don't know that we'll fully know what we as a people walk through, and that's not to say that we didn't all come to a place where we knew God was with us, and we did like it, but to be unauthentic and act as though we weren't affected by it, I don't know that does us any good either. So I think there's this kind of of taking inventory, but like we may not know for sure and for a little while. But I do think we also, in the shutting down of some things, other things were opened up. I mean, we had multiple conversations
Right.
about things that we had maybe put on the back burner, or things that we had wanted to do, or things that we hadn't done yet, and having this sense of, well, why not now? Your back's against the wall in so many other places. Why wouldn't you give this a go right now?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we took a weekend away. I started writing. I'd never done that. Put 13,000 words down in 2 days.
Awesome.
And it's still at 13,000.
I was like, how many since then?
But no, I did something else. But I do think that's part of what you said fear exposes. But I think sometimes we worry that sometimes the pain or the fear or the worry, we can turn those, and God can redeem those as He begins to birth something else.
Yeah.
As we talk about Advent, the pain of childbirth and the pain of carrying a child is part of the process of having a child. And there is this some of what has happened this year, I do believe that over the next couple of years, we will see things birthed out of that.
I love it.
That as much as we don't like what happened, there will be things that we realize later would not happen had that not happened,
Yeah.
right? I think that's, yeah. There
I
you go.
actually heard that a lot this year about
Mhm.
the birthing process, like how there's like the pain,
Yeah.
you know, in that, but then something beautiful, joyful comes at the end. Like I heard
Yeah.
that so many times this year,
Yeah.
you know, and I think we're like on that where we're like, okay, we're expectant of that now, which is
Yeah.
a good thing. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like, yeah, you know, it's like a struggle towards the end, but you're like, but I'm ready and I'm expectant of that new thing.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that.
So what were some of you talked about a lot about like conversations that you guys had that
Yeah.
were just unexpected, you know, that you either never had or kind of like put off. What were some of those conversations you had had with people or each other?
Yeah. I think I probably did. I process a lot through talking. Mayor's not that person.
I think a lot.
You think a lot. I express a lot.
Yeah.
And so, you know, even at times when I would call friends to talk and they pick up the phone and they go, hey, what do you want to talk about this time? And but that's just, it is a lot of ways the way I process. Mary knows this because at 11 o'clock at night, I'll go, babe, so I was thinking. She's like, babe, I'm in bed.
I remember, I think at one point I was like, hey, how's Mayor? And not because I was like, how's Mayor doing with everything? Like, how's Mayor doing
Dealing with
you?
me. Yeah, for sure.
It's a great question, Talisha.
I love you.
Absolutely great question.
Oh,
He was a champ, honestly. But you know, you process differently, and that's okay.
yeah.
He wakes up at about 9 p.m. and is just on it.
I come
On it.
alive
He
in the
comes
night.
alive, and I'm alive at probably 7 a.m.
Yeah, yeah,
till about noon.
yeah. No,
So-
I think the conversations, I think we didn't have as much a conversation about COVID. I think that was one of those, like, everybody's experiencing it, you're feeling it. I think now you're starting to go, okay, what's really going on? There are the conspiracy theories, all this stuff. And I think there's genuine conversations to have around all that. But I think the conversation started more with racism, with injustice, with those were the conversations. Plus, to even talk about COVID and some of that, everybody understands it.
Right.
Everybody gets it. We all are having something shut down. Everybody's having something disrupted. Everybody, with racism or injustice or however you want to phrase that, you can't assume that everybody understands what's happening or what's going on to know that down the street from us, you've got people who are driving out of their driveway to go protest, and you've got other people who have the sign or the opposite thing or who wouldn't bat an eye, and you're going, man, and as pastors feeling at times like we're in the middle of this. Like we are having to try to make sure that we bring people together.
Yeah.
So I think the conversations, I think there's a few things. Fear and how easily we let fear drive us. I think that's major.
Yeah.
I think we have built this kind of, and this is not bad to every degree, but this somewhat of a safety culture where we have to be safe
Yeah.
and comfortable, and pursuing those things as the end all usually don't end with dreams fulfilled or purpose or because and being safe is not bad. I mean, we watch our kids outside, we do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that was one. I think also the fact that there are people who are 2 houses down from you, or who are in your speed dial, or who you talk to every day that are feeling broken or hurt or neglected, or and on top of that have never had the opportunity to say that,
Right.
or in any way that feels valid,
Yeah.
right? To be able to say something and not feel like, oh goodness, yeah, okay, whatever, and not. But then on the flip side of that is to then hear people, and I listen. I'm contradictory by nature.
Yes.
So you say one candidate's the best, I'll tell you why the other guy is, and you tell me if that guy's the best, I'm going to tell you why the other guy
Yeah,
is.
right.
I just don't think anybody has all the answers. And so I tend to be, and I think maybe, anyway, so I think the conversation part, trying to keep people in unity, realizing that unity is something that has to be a fight, both for others, but also within yourself.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
have
absolutely.
to fight for people in your own heart and mind, and I don't know, validate people
Yeah.
and honor people
Yeah.
and love people, and so
Yeah.
I think all those conversations, I don't think they're done yet.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Right. I think maybe, and I'm gonna keep getting long-winded, so I want to let. I'm
I love
processing.
it. I think it's great.
Excited.
No, I do think we do have to learn how to have better conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I think maybe that's the biggest lesson for me, as wild as it sounds, because all of those other things have either gotten better or worse because we've understood how to sit across the table from one another and actually talk it out.
Right.
That's what I think.
I think that with the, like, going back to like conversations from 2020, like the COVID conversation was more like about unity. We all were like, we all empathize with each other.
Yeah,
We were
right.
going through it all together at the same time. It might have looked a little bit different for some, but we all were going through it. Where whenever things started to be like social injustice and the election, we were like divided, and it was like learning how to find the unity in the division
Yeah.
where people were like had trouble. And I think you were really good at that. That's what you tried to like really push with all of us, was like that unity, whether we're, because even in this church, we all fell on different sides of everything, every
right.
discussion that
So
was
true.
controversial.
Yeah.
So true. I have so many thoughts. I think one thing that quarantine did for me is it took me out of, I can deal with change. You're right. Like I can believe that something good is going to come from change. What I can't deal with is like stepping outside of my comfort zone very easily.
Yeah.
So I love the way that you process, because it opens up the conversation, and I think that put everybody in that boat this year. 2020 put us on the boat of having to deal with the issues with people.
Yeah.
Because we were stuck at home. We wanted to get outside. I mean, there was a point at which I think 3 weeks in, it was just like, okay, let's just start talking to people. So, beauty, or ashes into beauty kind of thing,
Right,
because
right.
I mean, I think a lot of things were exposed, and we can't deal with things until things are in the light.
Yeah.
So true.
And so, we can be thankful for that, I guess.
No, absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay. So through it all,
through it all.
what are you guys hoping people take into this next year, including yourselves?
Okay.
That's a good one. I
I
mean,
know.
I wrote some things down. I know you did too, but
Yes.
I think we've learned even some of this through Advent. So I'll make this quick because I took a lot of time in the last one. I think people need to be more curious.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think people are far too certain,
Yep.
far too confident that what they say is how it is. And I think we've learned that even with some of our Advent conversations. Just wisdom comes through curiosity, not through certainty. In fact, certainty makes you go, oh, there are no other possibilities. And so the curiosity factor, I think we are just so good at making these statements rather than asking questions. So that would be number one for me. And I think just be more thankful more often. I think it is a practice to be thankful. It is not just it doesn't just happen. It doesn't bubble up. It doesn't just go, oh, I'm so thankful. There are days and weeks and months and sometimes an entire year where you have to search and try and be intentional about being thankful. And that will open up. You will still, but if I go into a conversation that is difficult or is hard, but I've been curious about the person I'm about to talk to, curious about their experiences, curious about what they're going through, then I'll probably lead myself to some sort of empathy, some sort of better understanding. And then I also think if I'm thankful for the fact that I'm able to even have this conversation, then maybe I'll approach it differently. I'll hold it with more value. I'll honor it a bit more, a bit better.
I think one of my favorite lines from the whole Advent series that we've done as a church, Brennan, you said, you never think about breathing until it's taken away from you. Or you never think about your breath until it's taken away from you.
I did say that.
It was so good. It was so good.
I probably stole it from the book.
Probably.
It's probably from the book. So, but I think for me is one of the practices that I was told, how do you deal with stress is to breathe.
Yeah.
And so when I think about breathing in general, I think about being in the moment.
Yeah.
And so what I would say is look around, lift your eyes up, get your eyes out of your phone, be in the moment. Just be in the moment and treasure the breath that God has given you.
Yeah.
When you wake up thinking, my gosh, this is a miracle in itself,
Right.
then it gets you in that place of being thankful.
Ah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
It's really, Yeah. And so that was for me, 2020 was just, okay, Meredith, you just need to be in the moment because
Yeah.
you didn't know this was going to happen. This was out of your control. So what can you do? You can be in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate
It's
things more
awesome.
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that like combining what both of y'all said, like for me, I would just want to like explore, like really explore my thoughts, like, like, because you get so much information.
So much.
You're talking
Yeah.
about like being certain. And a lot of that certainty comes from things you've heard.
So in fact, the things you're looking for are only the things you're certain about.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of, oh wait, I'm certain of this. So he said that, or she said,
Yeah.
so yeah, that must be right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really am like, there's a couple of times where I'm like, wait. What do I think? How do I feel? How do I feel? And what does God say about this? Like, I remember like a lot of things I was like, I just need to go to my Bible because like everything's coming at you. And I was like, and that's just exploring, like exploring for yourself, finding out for yourself. And in that, you almost need that silence, that quiet, that peace. And I think this year gave us a lot of that, whether or not we handled it the right way or took it or saw it as a blessing.
Right.
Like I think we need to remember, like, no, sometimes you need to stop and get silent and explore for yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can maybe empathize or you can find unity
Yeah.
or you can just find out how you really feel or how you really think about something without like all the information or people talking at you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you guys, we're wrapping up here, but I have a verse I want to read to y'all. So in Luke, we see Mary was told by the angel that she was going to be given birth to a son who would be the savior of her people, completely unexpected and out of nowhere, and this is her response. So in Luke 1:38 says, then Mary responded saying, this is amazing. I will be a mother for the Lord. As his servant, I accept whatever he has for me. May everything you have told me come to pass. And the angel left her. So as we close today, what does this verse speak to you about our year and about what's to come?
I mean,
I'll start.
yeah.
Because I know you actually
No,
have. I feel like you could preach at the end of this thing because I looked at our notes. But okay. I don't know if this verse opens up so much for me because I feel like, I've been through pregnancy and I can imagine back then what I can't imagine. It's so hard to actually put into words what she probably was going through. But when you're pregnant, you deal with so much. You're growing, you have pregnancy pain, you have so much change in your body, you have morning sickness. It's just a big fat it's beautiful. And it's also messy.
Yeah.
And so it just reminds me that sometimes our calling and our purpose is messy. It's challenging.
So
and when growth happens in us, it's not always easy.
Yeah.
And I know you want to elaborate on that. So
No, I think you said it well. I think that's all I was going to say, and I think we can close it with that. I mean, the idea that that our calling would ever leave us comfortable is a misnomer. It's not helpful. It will lead you into a place where you actually compromise or sacrifice the very thing that's going to grow you the most. And, you never make gains, as they say, when you're working out. I don't know.
they say.
Without adding some weight to the bar.
Yeah.
And the challenge with this year, and even the challenge for Mary, is that it wasn't expected. It's not like her and Joseph were trying.
Yeah.
It's not like they weren't married yet. And in her day, it would have caused a lot more stir for her to be pregnant, having not been married. And so here comes God and going, here's how we're going to do it. All the things that y'all think are the best way to do it, all the standards you've set for what this should look like, I'm going to mess that up a little bit. I think that's what the picture of vision and purpose and ultimately love is. Love is to say, it's like putting our children on a bike and saying, you can do this. And they're afraid or scared or worried or unsure. And you continue to say, you're going to be fine, just do it. And there will be unexpected moments. There will be unease. There will be the queasy feeling at times. There will be all of those things. And that is not to say that everything should be that way. That there should be fulfilling moments. There should be moments that, but I also think for us to run from the pain or the difficulty of a season or a moment, would be for us to lose the opportunity that God presents in it. And so that's what Mary did. It's what we have in 2020. For her to look at the angel and say, whatever he has for me, whatever he has for me. That's the statement that maybe that's the best way to end this year, is to genuinely look at the Lord, not set goals, not kind of go, we're going to have 27 of these and we're going to do, and those are good, it's not bad, but to just simply say to the Lord, yeah, whatever you have for me. That's what because you love me, because you care for me and you want the best for me, whatever you have for me, let it be. And I think that's the way, that's the way it should be.
That's so good. All right. I don't know how to wrap it up.
I'm going to pray over it, pray over this, pray over our church. And I want to say thank you to our church. And I'm going to do this kind of break the fourth wall and just say thank you to C3 Fort Worth. You guys have been unbelievable. Yeah. We're sitting in a building. There's a lot of things that have come out of this year. Our outreaches for the streets, all the different things that we've done. So much of that according to your faithfulness and your willingness to engage the conversation, embrace the tension, and to love people well, and to keep cranking. And so I'm just so thankful for you. You're a beautiful, beautiful community, and I just don't know where you and I would be without you. So thank you guys so much. Why don't we pray together?
Love you. Yeah.
Did you want to say something?
No, I
you
just
want to say
said
thank
love
you
you.
too? Yeah, I know. Lord, thank you so much for today. And I do pray that in all that has happened this year and everything that we have walked through as a people, I pray that we would, at the end of this year and as we walk into next year, look to you and simply say, whatever it is you have for me, because you love us, you deeply desire to know us more and for us to know you more. And so whatever the future is, whatever the next year holds, whatever you have for us, we will gladly accept it. We will hold to it, and we will walk in it. And so, God, anyone who's feeling hurt, broken, discouraged, disheartened, we pray that they would know that you are close and that you are Emmanuel, God with us, and that in this moment they can still look to you and simply know that you love them so deeply, that the pain is not a sign, that the difficulty is not a sign that you are disappointed or you are not present. But that in this moment, we might actually discover more of who you are and have conversations we've been needing to have for a long time. And out of that, you would produce fruit that we would not have done otherwise. So thank you for this year. Thank you for the next one. And thank you for the community of people you've surrounded us with to walk through all of it. In Jesus' name, amen.
We love you, church, and we hope and pray that in this year of uncertainty and discomfort, that we were able to really remind you that God is with us and always with you. We just pray that during this Advent season that you're able to hold on to that reminder.
Yes, and thank you so much for also during this season being such a giving church. We have one more opportunity to give for 2020 before the year wraps up. So go to c3fortworth.com/give and you may give there. And also our Vision Builders is still open. So if you would like to give towards the vision of this church and what we would like to do with this building for our city, feel free to give there as well. And we will see you on January 3rd, right?
Yeah,
January 3rd.
next year.
2021. Thank you again for being such a life-giving church. We love you.
We love you.